And then we're going to go over our core values. So I can get everything up and running. And yes, I am running a couple of minutes behind because the lights in Saginaw were just blinking at the train. And then I turned and went around it and there's a train. And I was like, oh crap. So it is what it is. I'm the one that moved there. The trains were there first. Okay. So core value this morning, 2 core values. We are passionate about daily growing stronger, smarter, and more selfless. We want to see our team members flourish personally and grow constantly. We encourage and challenge each other to grow stronger physically, mentally, professionally, and emotionally as leaders to pursue selflessness. Our intent is that this growth does not terminate on ourselves, but is used to give back and serve our community and those with whom we interact. We also reject the status quo and encourage innovation. We hate complacency and are always looking for ways to do what we do better. Our team members are encouraged to think outside the box and innovate. As a company, we pivot fast and often, always looking for ways to improve and find the better way. Both of these are going to tie into what we're going to talk about in a few minutes. After Sean does his spill and after I go through some announcements, we're going to talk about some big changes that happened this week that you guys may have seen in the email on Sunday night, but we're going to talk about that as well. So we'll get to all that. Ladies and gentlemen, Sean Russell.
I thought I was going at the end. Okay. Well, I'm Sean Russell with First United Bank. For those of you who haven't met or worked with, we are a direct lender, family-owned bank. We lend portfolio stuff. I would say our specialty has always been that, we do lend directly, VA, FHA, construction, all that kind of stuff. But I do a lot of construction lending. So that's been my niche. You'll see me post a lot about that kind of stuff because I deal with a lot of builders. But there's
the lights are just so bright. I had to turn them down. There's like blinding everybody online.
I look younger with the lights dim. I like that. I wanted to share a couple things because as we go into, this next phase of the market, it's funny because when I started coming here, you guys were still dealing with multiple offers and orchard and all these crazy things in the market that were happening. And I really do think that, we're not that far off from some of those things worked, some of those things were awful. And I know that seems far away, but I'll just give you an idea. Like our application percentage is up, for first-time buyers to almost triple what we were seeing at this time last year. Our application numbers, first-time buyers, FHA, VA, everything across the board is up. I think that will be hitting your listings soon. But people are coming back anywhere that have looked over the last 2 years and just been discouraged or, trying to go through these, again, jumping through hoops in the past. I mean, I'm trying to rethink the things that helped me to be successful before because those expedited things. And the one thing I would say is, again, it's a good time to think about, who they're working with in terms of like who's going to be able to close in 2 weeks. I mean, I see us very quickly get back to a situation. People are very knee jerk and with rates, where they're heading, which is the topic. I'm so sick of talking about rates as much as you guys are talking about it. But what I thought would be, is you guys are hearing the information. The main thing that I want to remind you is when they talk about the Fed cutting rates, the Fed chairman does not call our bank and ask us to move our rates down or demand that we drop rates or anything like that. We've already started moving towards those rate adjustments based on where we think the market's going to go. So right now, for instance, on FHA and VA deals, we're seeing rates at like 5 3/4, and that's without any crazy buy downs or any kind of big temp buy downs or any of that stuff. That stuff is going to vanish away immediately because as rates come down, people are going to realize. I already had trouble selling it, honestly, before because people, once they saw the cost, decided they didn't want it. But you can look at rates in the high 5s right now in VA and FHA, and you can look at rates in the low 6s, 6 1/4. I think today they probably are moving down as we speak today, just because of some things that have moved in Treasury and the market. So banks are betting on a 0.5% cut by the Fed. But what your clients are thinking is, let's wait till September 15th and see what rates do. Banks have already made the move. They're just going to adjust slightly based on what the Fed actually does at mid-month. That's all that's going to happen. And there's going to be one more adjustment as well. So again, banks are going to bet ahead on that. So if you're waiting until that time, you're kind of already waiting for the line, like you're not saving yourself anything by doing it. So I would just encourage you to use that information because again, they're countering it counters what people think intuitively. And you don't, I mean, like we know all things, like you assume your customers might know better because you see them, they have this nice car, they seem like they're wealthy, they seem like they're smart. The other side of it is the rhetoric that is coming out of the politics right now is ruining a lot of deals and helping people to make really bad decisions about whether they want to invest or buy. I was talking to Jimmy about it. If you're listening to conservative news, then you believe we're heading. This is what I'm hearing from conservatives personally. Well, I'm hearing that rates are about to go up because we're about to hit a recession because Biden's ruined the economy. Okay, couple things. Rate-wise, they will drop immediately if that happens. I mean, there's just bad information. And on the other hand, everything's great. The economy's great. Job growth is great. If you're on the other side of the spectrum, that's not necessarily true either. Neither are true or have anything to do. But I would just encourage you to just have a message and stick to that message. Make it a part of what you talk to proactively with your clients and the conversations getting to know them, because that's helped me to help them to make decisions about local real estate and not with the garbage that they're hearing on TV. Do you guys have any questions about what you are hearing rumor wise, or what your clients might be hearing, or what you're hearing might be happening? The main thing is as far as when people perceive what's happening out there, jumbo rates are still a point above everything you're hearing on conventional rates. So if conventional rates are in the low sixes, jumbos are running in the low sevens right now. There's lots of incentives and banks offering things to refinance when rates drop, but barring a recession or a major economic catastrophe, we're only looking at another 0.5% drop from where we are right now. That is not that significant when you're talking about it. That might be $200, maybe $250 a month on most of your $300 and $400. I mean, that's not nothing, but I'm saying like it is not as significant as people will think. And it's definitely not a reason to hold out and decide not to buy now. I can tell you again, the houses that are moving are big multi-million-dollar property, cash deals, everything like that, right? Because rich people know the best time to buy is when no one else is buying, right? So that's the difference between people who build wealth and people who are just in the hamster wheel like I've been my entire life and my family. So
Here.
anyways, any questions though for me that I can help?
Jumbos start at what?
Yeah,
FHA goes up to what?
Jumbos start at $766,000,
Okay.
basically and above. So, and that's the loan size. That's not the purchase price of the house. It could be a $2 million house as long as they're only financing 766 or below. So I have people that are kind of on the fence, a lot of $1 million houses around in the immediate area. And so they're putting down, maybe they're doing first and second mortgages, back to that kind of thing. So they can stay under that conventional limit and take advantage of those better rates.
Okay.
So
Good to know.
Anything else?
Thank you, Sean. Thank you for breakfast this morning.
Cell phone, just text me. That's it. You have, and if you guys should all have my contact.
I always put it in the follow-up. It'll be in the brokerage announcements channel. I'll put Sean's email and phone number in there this afternoon.
I would say if you have clients, I will not call them unless you tell me to, but I would definitely, if you have somebody you want to talk about that you're going to refer to me, please send the information to me. I promise I do not call them, but that way I can save their number. I get so many garbage calls because I have a billboard with my name on it, and they find me. I get garbage all day. So just to make sure I don't miss somebody that's trying to reach me, just encourage them to send me a text or send me their number and I'll save it. But I will not call them unless you tell me to, I promise. Okay. All right.
Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you, bud. Good to see you. All right, guys. Gonna hit a couple things. So the brokerage announcements channel is up and running. I have put some new quick links in the brokerage announcements channel. A lot of things that deal with the brokerage, like our policies and procedures, the W-9, that kind of stuff is in the quick links on the brokerage announcements channel. Does anybody need me to show you where that is? Okay. No. Do you know where it is on your phone? When you go to the channel, hit the channel name and it'll say bookmarks, and there everything is underneath there. Taja.
Sorry, I was just laughing.
Okay. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, carry on.
All right. Let me let me see if I can figure out how to do this best. So did you see the new email format on Sunday? Make more sense? Less words? Prettier? Okay, good. So I'm not going to go through that then if everybody saw it. Is anybody not getting that email on Sunday night? Good. Okay. Did you see the swag that we've got now? You didn't see it in the email?
Oh, the t-shirt.
The t-shirts. Yes. 2 of the shirts have not come in yet. They're on back order. The cowboy one, on a horse. That one is not in yet, but we do have new swag back there. You can go back there and pull it up and look at it. If you want one, email Rachel and say, I'm taking a white 6 Ave shirt, and she will bill you $20. Rachel's out of town this week, so you won't be billed until next week if you decide to do that today. If anything financial comes up, talk to Jimmy, please. Onboarding, Ms. Kaya, today at 2:00. If any of the new agents would like to join, I will set that up on Google Meet. So if anybody online would like to be a part of that and just listen in to see if you can catch something more about what we're doing, everybody's welcome to join the onboarding at 2:00 today. If you haven't done your code of ethics, you're going to get in trouble. Please go. You've got till December 31st. You still have months to do it. It's a short program. Has anybody done it recently? How long? Hour and a half? 2 hours? Okay.
Yeah, like 6 months ago.
Okay. I put all the links in there for you to go check and make sure that your code of ethics is done. So if you haven't gone to check if it's done, please do that. Go check and make sure that it is done. Next week, Jerry Williams with New Wave Lending will be flying in from Colorado to join us and bring us breakfast. So he'll be here next Wednesday at 9:45. I am going to now do a quick little market update from Greater Fort Worth. Let me get up here and present this. What? Why is it doing that? I guess it's recording. I don't know. If it doesn't work, I'll figure it out later. We're going to do this right now. This is a market report from Greater Fort Worth Association of Realtors. So a couple of interesting points that I think we need to look at. And you people online, I'm looking at the Fort Worth housing report. Look at the number of active listings up since July of 2024. And closed sales are down 1%, which is what we're seeing. Months of inventory is 3.6. If you don't know what the absorption rate is if no more buyers came into the market, how long would it take for the current buyers to purchase all of the homes that are currently active on the market? That's the absorption rate. That's how we measure months of inventory. It would take right now 3.6 for the buyers to buy up everything that we have listed, which is a lot. If you look at it, there's a lot of listings out there right now. So 3.6, a balanced market is considered 6 months. So we always kind of err on the side of caution and say 5 to 7 months is a balanced market. That means it's not a seller's market. It's not a buyer's market. We're still in a seller's market, believe it or not. I know Carissa's got the look on her face, and I think the same thing is like, I can't get a showing on 2 of my listings, and we're in a seller's market. Craziness. Okay, so that is Fort Worth. Tarrant County as a whole, active listings are up 46%. Closed sales are up 7% in Tarrant County. Where are they buying?
Keller.
Who's got them? You got them? Keller?
Well, my Keller went past.
Okay.
Justin. Oh, that's it.
Here's Johnson County. They're up 55% in listings, and closed sales are up 20% in Johnson County. But it's a balanced market. 5 months of inventory. 5 months of inventory. Parker County, active listings up 12.8. Closed sales are up 2.5. Months of inventory is at 5.6. Almost a completely balanced market there in Parker County. Here's the quick comparison. That's all the counties and everything combined. Just to kind of give you, these are median sales prices for Fort Worth at $347, Johnson at $349. Parker up there at $500,000. Look at the Parker County people go. And Tarrant County's at $362. I just thought that was some interesting stuff that Greater Fort Worth put out just to kind of gauge where the market is heading at this point. Okay, so I want to, and let me just see if this will work if I do this. I want to hit this. Yeah, it went. Okay, so if you are a non-full-time realtor, most of everybody is, okay? There's about, I think we've got 10 people that are part-time. If you are a part-time realtor, and I hope that they're watching this on YouTube, which is another question I want to ask you guys, but all of the procedures and required docs are on our part-time agents. This is inside the back site. Everything that you need to do is here. There's all the forms you need. You submit your documents there, and you submit your CDA here. I can't make it more simple than that. all your documents immediately go through our Google system and go directly to Victoria and I, so we see them. When you put this here, we both get an email saying they've submitted a CDA. So if you're a part-time agent, this is where you go. It's on the backside under productivity part-time agents. I put the link in that for Sunday night as well. So I'm just poll. Who watches the YouTube meetings? If you don't come, do you watch the meeting?
I kind of did the ones that are super informative.
No? You come. He
I
comes.
did. I'll log on and watch it if I'm not here.
Okay, so people are
Unless
using.
I'm on vacation.
You guys find value in the YouTube channel with the meetings from past stuff? Yes? No?
If it's like talking about something specific.
Okay.
I do.
Okay. So, but the office meeting in general doesn't really help you. What if you weren't here and you wanted to catch up? No? Is it worth me doing it?
I think so.
I do.
Okay.
I think for a lot of different reasons.
If you say yes, I should keep doing it, raise your hand.
Is it difficult for you?
It's a download. I have to wait for the recording to finish loading and processing, and then I download it and then I upload it back into YouTube. Takes me about probably 45 minutes.
But you're doing other things while you're.
Yeah, while it's processing, I can
No,
answer Tasha's questions.
it's a great tool.
Huh?
I do think it's a great tool.
Okay, so everybody in favor of it still being there? Okay, all right, good. Is everybody looking at the new TAR forms and understand what's on there? There is a lot of information. A lot of it is also in, let me jump over there. Where'd I go? There, that one. So I want you guys to be aware there's extra stuff here. I've updated the way that it looks so that it looks better on your phone. I wasn't doing that before, and so it kind of looked all crisscross and applesauce. Well, this particular format, when you look at it on the phone, should look fairly similar to what you're seeing here. The litigation website, if anybody needs it, I haven't been asked yet. Nobody's asked me about the litigation stuff, but it's over here on the right side. There's a pull down over here on the left that has all of the resources. And thank you, Holly, for helping me know that it was the wrong color, because I put the background as the same as the link so you couldn't see them. They were there, but you just couldn't see them. But those are there. And then all of your listing docs are here, the FAQs about each one. Somebody was asking about builder stuff. A lot of times the builders aren't going to sign nothing. I get that. But the 2401 was specifically designed for non-represented sellers, which includes buyers and for sale by owners. So that's what the 2401 is for. We're going to talk about the 2402, 2406 in just a minute. So I'll jump back at that in a second. And the 2701 should be going away soon. I think it's still in use right now, but everybody should have already updated all of their listings to the August 17th deadline, and then the August 23rd deadline, and then the next deadline. And it's been fun trying to keep up with this. Okay. So did you guys, anybody hit the link about our listings page? Anybody go look? Okay. So Sunday night's email, you didn't see the thing and you didn't click it. Okay. So you guys have got to start looking at my crap. All right. So this is the new IDX for our listings. There's a couple things we need to talk about. So we've designed it so that our listings show up first, and there's a map and then each individual one. I have personally loaded every full-time agent at 6th Ave into this site, and I'm going to show you some really cool tricks. But it brings up some questions that we need to discuss as an office. Underneath this is where you find the BAC. That page that I designed for the BAC is right there. We're going to talk about that in a minute too. Then there's a search bar. Then you can search the entire MLS right there. People can jump in there and save the search. Jimmy has requested that it not be like a click and then you have to register. It's free. Right now, it's just open, open, open. We're going to try it this way for 3 months, see if anybody registers, look at the number of visits and page views that we get, and then maybe we'll try it for 3 months where they get to look at 2 and then they have to register. I'm looking for leads. That's what I want.
If they don't have to register, how does it show you?
So
somebody
there's
down there?
two different thoughts here. One, if they
if you want to search, then you have to type in your email.
Right.
And they're just curious, they want to search. So you type in your email, you capture an email.
Mhm.
Well, then you put them on drip campaign. Well, we don't have a drip campaign for just 6 Ave homes because, Brian, we don't want 600 homes to be an agent.
Right.
So the idea here is that we do not do an email to capture it and they start searching. But whenever they start searching, the recommended agent to call is going to be Brian. And so the thought here is that I think it will get more leads by just being free and open, and then people are just being curious on the website, and they're like, "Oh, I'll still call," and Brian then disseminates the leads because again, our broker doesn't take leads. So and then he pushes out the leads. So we think that that's going to be a better top of funnel.
Yeah, I was just wondering how it captures
Yeah,
it
yeah.
if you don't have to log in.
Yeah, we were messing around with it when we were putting this together, and I was like, I would never do this.
Yes,
Like,
and that's what I was gonna say. I think people would appreciate that, because if I have to do it, I click off and I try to find it somewhere else.
I mean, you just go to Zoom. I
Yes.
mean, it's like, come on, like this.
Yeah.
So, but if you're there and you're like, all right, and you just type an address or you look in the map, you're already there. You might do it. It's like, it's a shot, you know, and I think it's the best shot we have from a top of funnel marketing
You'd be
strategy.
shocked the number of people that do it.
Oh, I know.
Like
Yeah.
I've done Facebook ads, and it's like I require everything, and
You still,
people do it.
yeah, you still get it. And so this is just an easier barrier of entry for a top of funnel, a better way of doing it.
Okay. So then at the bottom of the page of our listings is all of our full-time agents. We're not putting the part-time agents on here simply because this cost us money. So this is an add-on, and part-time agents are not paying some of the fees that the full-time agents pay. So it's a different tier of agent there, not of agent experience, but of resources that are available to them. So I want to show you something. So for instance, when you click this, it's going to pull up the listing, and I just picked one at random, and it's going to see it puts me there as the local expert. So that if somebody was to say, hey, I've got a question, well, then I can transfer that person to one of the agents in the office. However, I want to back up and I want to show you what it looks like. Ray, I'm going to use yours since you're right there at the top. Here's Ray's listing in Las Colinas, Irving. And you can see there is Ray's contact information right there. Now, I want you to notice right here. And I'm pointing right underneath, if people online look right, the sentence underneath property details. Seller is offering 3% buyer's agency compensation. We can put this on our page. It is not on the 6 Ave Homes page. It is at least one click behind that. This does not feed back to MLS. Here is my quandary. We can continue to run the BAC page that has a list of all of our stuff that I have to manually go in and do. Everybody already has access to this web page, to this IDX. It's your 6 Ave email, all of you, Ray at 6 Ave Homes, Holly at 6 Ave Homes, Kaya at 6avehomes.com. The password is 6 Ave Homes. And now I'm going to put the link to it in the follow-up today, but it's leadsandcontacts.com. And then you log in, you can do your own BAC. Okay, I'm going to show you what that looks like. So let me share this page. This is what our system is called Buying Buddy. It's a guy in Colorado that runs this, and it was the most comprehensive, prettiest that I could find. We did sign up for another one that I had to cancel in 2 days because it was awful UI. So this is what it looks like, and all of you are already in here. And you have the ability to do your own listings. This is how you do it. You go to listings, please load there. My MLS listings, and then it pulls up. Well, let me find out again. Sorry, I did this morning getting it ready, so that's why it's doing that. So here's my MLS listings. Right here under custom headline text, right over here on the right. This is where you would put in your BAC or anything you want to put under property details. You have the ability to put that in yourself. Now, I need people to weigh in. Is the BAC page that has everything on it, is that better? Or is it better for each individual agent to put their own BAC on their own listing and publicize it that way?
Can we do both?
I
Will you do it yourself?
think it makes more sense. I mean, it's our business. It's not your job to,
I mean,
Hunt
it's
us
an extra
down.
thing for you to do if you were
Yeah.
doing it for us, but yeah.
Everybody that was on the BAC has already been loaded. I went through each of your listings and put it on there. Yes, it was a little bit of work.
so are you, I guess the question is, this is automatically going to pull our new listings in, correct?
Mhm.
So then all we have to do is log in, and if there's a BAC that our seller has approved us marketing, we just put it in.
Correct.
Yeah, that feels like an estimate, in my opinion.
We can do both. It's just a matter of, we're just trying to anticipate what buyers agents.
We'll do.
It's just echoing.
We just want to anticipate what buyers agents will do or what they're going to look for and where they're going to look for it. And so we're trying to just capture every single, place that they would.
There are a lot of platforms and a lot of listings right now that it's like, and they're most like they're investor platforms, but you have to like go and you have to go to their website and then you have to search for their listing
Yeah.
and then you go to the listing and then that's how you apply or that's how you get, I mean, so that's not
It's not
totally
uncommon right now.
uncommon.
So
Especially with like leases, that's always been
Yeah.
how we do it.
Yeah, right.
can we link, if I'm, say, in private remarks, I always put for questions, contact me. Call, text, or email. Can I then put this link
No,
there?
no, you may not put links in the MLS. The way the MLS is set up is,
Or would it be this website
I,
instead?
what I wrote in my listings that I put on the market today, I put, see our website for buyer agent information.
You can do that because it's gonna,
It hasn't
More
flagged
than
me.
one click.
Yeah.
Because
It'll take it to the website and then then
You
they're
have
gonna
to
have to
click
click
on
on
our
listings. And they have to click on our website and click on our listings, but then they'll be there. And that was like our quickest way legally to like give them the opportunity to grab it.
and we put this on the 6th Ave homes, not 6th Ave homes agents, not the backside, main page, 6th Ave listings right there.
Yeah, so you would just visit our website for more information,
And hopefully they're like
visit,
Don't get it.
savvy enough to
Well,
see 6th Ave
I
listings
was gonna
is
say,
right
then
there.
click
Right,
6
so
Ave
you could
listing,
say,
then
Yeah.
for more
search for
information, go to
property.
Or it'll say 6th Ave listings.
You can say see our
I
website.
mean, it has all
you
the
can't put the link.
houses.
Can't put a link.
But this
think
is my
that's
thing, is like,
pretty good.
it's
I
easy
think
for
most
me,
people are just gonna text us and we
granted, if
just,
they actually answer the phone, for me to call the agent, be like, hey, you're a seller operating BAC.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, I mean.
That's fine
Yeah.
in a market
That's
like today.
normally
Yeah.
what people will do.
But if we get into pandemic stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna show you some numbers in just a second, where we're getting 30 and 40 offers on a property. I'm sorry, I don't have time to answer that many phone calls and tell every one of them what the BAC is. I just don't. I won't answer the phone. And then I'm just constantly just texting everybody. So I'm trying to anticipate a market change to kind of see what that's going to look like. So if you guys, we can continue to run the BAC for now, the BAC page for now, and then let everybody do their own listings. But I will put all the information of how to go to this website and sign in. Somebody had a question? Can we just put BAC on that page? Kristen, come on and talk to me. What page?
Sorry, Jana was first, but on that the 6th Ave page that you have up right there, like, can we just advertise it on that?
Not on the 6th Ave homes, because that's the main site for the office.
no, but this isn't where it takes you. It takes you to the main page and then you have to click.
Yes,
That's the,
because what happens is when you go to MLS and you click like in the brokerage information and agent information, it has the office website there, which is 6avhomes.com, which is great. That's a great place for them to start. But then they can click our listings and then immediately they see this. So it's a couple of clicks down. I'm just trying to protect us from NAR crap.
Right. Would that be against the rules for it to be on that page? Though, like, 'cause I've seen Compass is doing, there's a few other brokerages that are doing it that way. So if you click on the individual brokerage, on the individual listing and on the details, it'll have the commission.
Well, and that's what we have here under, it's just 2 clicks down. So by the time you get here, let me share this page and said, this is the BAC page where I have to go and load, but this is where we're keeping track of it. I want to show you guys something else. And Jimmy, I want your opinion on this. I found this yesterday. Let's open this link, share this tab. Okay, so this is a company out of Central Texas. This is how they're doing their BAC. This is seller compensation offers for cooperating brokers. But check this out. Underneath, and I hope this print pulls up. It didn't. Let me share this. They put a 2402 on every single one of their listings already pre-signed by the listing agent. Interesting.
Yeah.
So they're generating a 2402 of what compensation they're offering
I like that.
in advance.
I do too.
Where are they putting that?
It's inside their website. Jana's giving me the
That feels
applause. Jana, come on and talk to me about that.
Well, that's what I was originally stating up front, is that I really like this document. I know there's some brokerages out there that don't want it. They just want you to submit the 2406. The other thing that I was going to say a while ago was, when you say in your remarks for your listing, see our website, and then you add a link, the link is already there, 6th Avenue Homes. I think verbiage might be better served to say, see our website and click on 6th Avenue Listings. Because when I went to it, I was like, okay, where do I go? And I wasn't really seeing 6th Avenue Listings across the top. I was just kind of coursing through it real quick. And I scrolled down and I looked around. So I think just giving them specific instruction on what to do once they get there is going to be very helpful. And
Okay, so-
I think the more we can put out there, the better. But I don't want to add more on your shoulders. So whatever we can do to upload stuff ourselves, I think would be ideal.
Okay. Thank you, Jana. Kristen, did you have a comment?
Well, I was also thinking, like, if the other brokerage that you shared, that they have all their documents uploaded in one spot, if there's like a more uniform way where if we got a listing and we wanted to have those things uploaded as well, would it be smart to like have a drive to like where we upload everything for you? So like you don't have to keep like going and looking for documents. Like if we uploaded the document that shared what the seller's offering commission wise, and then that way you just have access to all of it.
Well,
Like we upload it ourselves.
our current process for that is, if you take a listing, you put it into the homes open houses on Slack, and you just put the address and tell me what the BAC is there. You're not only advertising it to me so that I can go do my work here, but you're also advertising it to your fellow agents so they know that there's a new 6th Ave listing that they need to be aware of.
Okay, that's cool. I like that.
Any other comments from online?
My only question sorry,
No, please.
make sure nobody online has anything.
Nobody's saying anything. Go ahead.
Okay. My only concern with like pre-posting the 2402 is, doesn't that just sort of loop us back to where we were with sellers not feeling like they knew they were allowed to negotiate once they receive an offer?
That's another one of my points that we wanted to talk about today is, are our BAC offers locking our sellers into something that we may not want them locked into? I'm seeing a lot of comment about that from the broker side of, are we taking away that negotiation piece by advertising it?
That's how I am starting to kind of feel. The more listings I'm taking, the more scenarios I'm looking at. Like, I am starting to understand the lawsuit a little bit more.
Okay.
I think personally, and feeling like I didn't do my due diligence, and like I haven't been negotiating. Maybe I'm learning a new skill is the best way to put that. Like, I'm learning a new skill in negotiating for my sellers. And if I was a seller, I wouldn't want to feel locked into a 3% if I get a lower offer, feeling like I have to pay, when at the end of the day, I don't.
Yeah, I kind of side. I
agree with that.
absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
Because I really feel like, I haven't, obviously this is like new and, like we're doing it, but I really feel like in my client's best interest, I need to put like buyer agent friendly. Almost.
So in I don't have it pulled up, but in our listing agreements, the section you were talking about, the disclosure section, what it says is agent does or does not have permission to disclose that seller is considering contributing towards buyer's costs. That's what it says. Like, it is considering contributing whatever, I forget exactly the words.
I'm gonna
but-
pull it up while you're
But
talking.
it's an like, when I went back and reread that last week, that's why when I posted my new listing, that's what I said, because my sellers are considering contributing towards buyer's costs. Depending on what that looks like, it might be compensation, it might be concessions.
5A.
Nope. Down on, oh wait, no, they moved it. This is the new one.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
You may go down to
It's closed
12,
concession, 11.
11. Okay. And if you guys are not real familiar with the contract, now's a great time to get familiar with the listing agreement.
Go down for me.
Where you can check yes or no.
Yeah, where is the, I know they, did they move it?
They moved it back up to 5. I think it moved back to 5.
I don't know where it is.
Yeah, it's not down here.
Okay, go back up.
Let me go back to, let me go back up.
Is it not in the disclosure notice?
It is the disclosure notice where they
Not-
moved that
This is
to.
the listing.
No, it is in the listing agreement. There's a public marketing.
Janet, go ahead. You can come jump in.
I think it's more advantageous to use that document, the compensation agreement between brokers, for the buyer's agent to submit it before an offer than it is for the seller to post it prior to negotiations. That's just my 2 cents.
Say that sentence again.
Okay, so I think it's more advantageous for a buyer's agent to utilize that compensation agreement between brokers before they submit an offer, the 2402, just to clarify and sort of lock in, if you will, the buyer's agency commission before you begin negotiations. I don't think it's as advantageous to post it up front from the sellers.
I agree.
Yeah, so this says, does or does not authorize broker to disclose to other brokers and prospective buyers that the seller will consider contributing an amount towards buyer's expenses.
Such as buyer's brokers.
Right. Or expenses payable, blah, 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 blah.
And the 20,
That's what my seller's agreeing to. And that's like we were talking about the other seller or the agreement to share whatever document that is. You know what I'm talking about?
20
No,
the 1412,
is that the approval to share information?
this one.
Yes. So it does sound like this is where if your seller was okay with you sharing exact dollar amounts, if they were okay with you putting that up front, that's where you would have to have that signed.
I agree.
So
I agree with that. So I'm kind of in the mid ground right now of, you know, I want to be buyer agent friendly
totally.
on my listings, but are we locking somebody into something that we don't have to, that they don't have to do that? I mean, it's not a guarantee that we're going to pay our buyer's agent an X percentage, depending on the offer. You come in 3% low and still want 3%. Well, why?
The only time you're guaranteeing it is once both brokers have signed
Correct?
and both buyer and seller have signed.
Correct.
So, I mean,
It's an offer of compensation.
right.
Yeah,
What
but
did they-
it's always sort of been that way. I
It
mean, I've
has.
negotiated compensation down
Mhm.
during the transaction.
But did
I
you
think-
sign that paper
That's what I'm
first?
saying.
Well, no, I mean, no, that I'm saying, but I think that's the big push in the industry is have common knowledge that things change because best interest of your clients is not guaranteeing your compensation.
Agreed. So, but, and so that other brokerage that was putting out those 2402s,
That's getting hairy to me.
Well, see, who was the
But it's not
listing agent
now,
signed it or the
I-
seller signed it?
Yeah, who signed it
The-
on
the
that? Can
listing
we go
agent
back to
signed it.
that?
The listing agent.
Because so seller signature is not on there, so it's not even formal from the seller because the listing agent's the only one that signed it.
To my understanding, I might be wrong.
That's what I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
who signed it?
it is just the broker.
Okay, so our seller is not signing it, so even if the buyer and listing or buyer's agent signed it, it's not an actual formal binding thing because the seller has.
Correct.
Correct. But then you have people coming into your home thinking
That's what they're.
there's an agreement made. And now that I feel like opens the brokerage up to being responsible for whatever difference the seller may not be willing to pay, or
Yeah.
I just feel like that opens up.
Well, and
What's the difference though between that being posted and you posting what the list price is? I mean, until something is in writing and all parties sign it, you know, an offer, like the seller still has to sign The compensation agreement form.
Yes, as and part of the contract. I mean, it's going to be in there, and then you're going to sign a 2406 more than likely. I haven't seen a 2402 used like that
No.
company, and that was an interesting take on how they're pushing that out. But then I started thinking about, well, but is that locking our sellers into, hey, I'm offering 3%. Well, it depends on the offer.
Yeah.
Depends on a lot of terms. So I just wanted to have that discussion with everybody so that we're thinking about it. I'm seeing a lot of people. Okay, this is back to the listing agreement. So let me go back to the listing agreement.
I do have a question too. Are you allowed to put that verbiage from the listing agreement in the MLS? It's not talking about compensation. Could I put seller is considering contributing, well, like just copy paste into the MLS? Could you put that? It's not talking about buyer agent compensation.
Yes, and under financial on the input tab is seller concessions, yes or no.
I know that. I don't use that. I don't like that, but I think that verbiage leaves it more open-ended.
Couldn't you put that in MLS? Try it and see if you get flagged.
We'll pay for your lawyer
Or
fees.
no.
No, they'll flag you and
Flag.
they'll flag you and send you and me an email, and then we'll know. I mean,
It's on the line.
but it's one of those things that, like, I don't want us crossing lines and jumping over them, but we also need to know what's allowed and what's not. And they're still figuring out what's allowed and what's not. Okay, so I haven't showed this, share this tab instead. Okay, so on the 1101, which is the listing agreement, let me get there. So in most cases, this is where one of these two boxes right here is what you're going to fill out on a listing agreement. You haven't done a listing agreement with this new form. I just wanted you to see where it is, what's going on. Paragraph 5A includes payment of compensation to the other broker working with a buyer. Complete both 1 and 2. So you have to complete 1A, which is a percentage or a flat fee, or B, some other form of payment. Maserati.
That's what I'm going for.
Okay. Then we go down, then you drop down to 2. If the other broker procures a buyer that purchases the property, seller authorizes broker to pay, and broker will pay the other broker the following fees for amounts specified in 5A1. Then you're going to also put in here. So I'm just going to use an example. If I'm taking a listing at 5%, since there's not a standard in our industry, there are no standards in our industry. 6th Avenue does not require you to charge a percentage. You can charge 9, 14, 2, 3, 5. Any of those numbers are totally fine with me. If you can get 15%, Jen, please get it. Okay. Now, here would be the big number. Let's just say that it's 5. And let's just say that the seller has authorized for you to advertise to other agents that you're going to give half of it. So you would put 5 here, 2.5 here. Just kind of help you out through the listing things as they've changed. This is the new form with all the new language from last Saturday. Yes.
So I just had a listing appointment this week and this came out.
Bragger.
Huh?
Bragger.
Well, I'm not gonna get it. So. But she had already interviewed another agent and I went in knowing that. And so we talked about, I said, have you heard about all the stuff going on? She said, yes, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, she brought up that the other agent was going to do a lower commission split and everything else and was going to give the other agent 2.5 or 2% or whatever to make her network because her seller needs a certain net. And I said, well, we can certainly discuss all of that. I've done this I think it was last year. I experienced this when none of this was going on. I know not everybody's going to agree with me, but that's okay. But I told my seller, this is what I told my last seller last year when this happened. I would rather take the lower commission because and this is what I told them. And I know not everybody's going to agree, but I told them I said to better market, to better advertise, to better advocate for you. I feel like I need to offer the buyer's agent 3% of that. And I think that's true. I think because not every agent is ethically going to do everything correctly. But if there's two houses in my neighborhood that are for sale, she's going to be one of them. The other one's offering 3%. So if we already automatically go in at 2.5%, I mean, where do you think that buyer's agent's gonna be focusing?
That's a reasonable conversation to have with the seller.
I'm just throwing that out there. Not everybody has to do that. I just feel like for me to better market a property and better advocate for my client, that's what I'm gonna start doing.
Okay.
Because
I do the same thing.
I would rather
never
take the
discount.
hit. Yeah.
Have the same conversation.
I've always done that.
Same conversation.
Honestly, she told me, she's like, really? She's like, I really respect that. So it builds rapport, it builds loyalty, they see that you're not just out for a paycheck.
Okay. All right. We're going to move on because we're running out of time. Let me show you this tab. This is the 2406. So I want to talk gently. I had a conversation. Okay. So we've been talking about all these forms all summer long, and I haven't represented a buyer personally until this last weekend. And I get in there and I start writing all these forms, and I've been telling y'all how to do this stuff. And I'm like, holy crap, I don't know what to do. I started to call y'all. I'm like, oh no, I don't know what to do. So I just wanted y'all to I wanted to talk through what everybody's doing with paragraph D on the 2406. So the listing broker shall pay, or the seller shall pay. So that's a big difference. And I didn't really think about that until I started writing it up for my buyer. I'm going to give you the scenario. I have a buyer's representation agreement at 3% with my buyer. I'm going to charge 3%. She picked a house that's only offering 2%. So I had to have that wonderful conversation of, Dina, remember when I told you that there's a chance we could go and look at a property that wasn't offering the compensation that I require? Yes, I remember that, Brian. Okay, well, this house that you love is only offering 2%. So I'm going to have to charge you, and I don't know how I get paid. I have no idea. I don't know where the money is. She part of that? Is that part of her down payment? Is that part of her closing costs? Does she write me a check, Venmo me, Zelle? I don't know. I'm going to go through it so that I can tell y'all what happens.
So, Brian, I had that happen once before, and Mike Flynn actually wrote a check to the title company so they could disperse the funds.
Thank you. That's a great solution.
And I did it once back when I was with Tim Nystrom. And hey,
Go ahead.
y'all better start somewhere. I love him. Sometimes. There's so much first it is. And they Shannon King just rolled it into the closing costs from the buyer, what the buyer brought.
Yeah, I think it's just a line item.
Yeah, 'cause it was like a percent and
Closing
a
is
half.
closing.
Yeah, it was on, and this was back before CDs.
Yeah.
HUD.
Don't.
HUD.
don't-
Hug one. Okay, so I'm going to go through that. So, but that was an uncomfortable conversation Saturday morning when I'm out in this offer to call my buyer and say, I'm
But
sorry.
I'm just
Yeah.
a nerd. But if you are taking payment and they're not rolling it into the actual transaction, giving a check, it has to be made out 6th Avenue, not you.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but I think the proper way to do it is for everything to go, because the lender has to know about it too.
Yeah.
So you're going to show them a buyer rep agreement and say, hey, they're only offering this. I'm charging this. Somebody's got to come up with this money. It's got to be part of closing. So, but I wanted y'all to see that. Most of the broker talk that I'm hearing on Facebook, we've got a what's it called? Independent Brokers Network or something. Everybody's talking about that they want all of their agents to use D2B here. So D2B.
Can you read that?
Seller shall pay B, blank number of dollars or percent of sales price towards other brokers' fees. Seller shall pay.
Yeah.
Here. Use this option only if there's no separate written compensation agreement between the seller and other broker. This creates a new obligation for the seller. In this case, this listing agent, conversation he and I had, he said the seller is only offering, my listing agreement says 4%. So I'm getting 2, you're getting 2, but it's coming from the seller, not from my brokerage.
And that's where we're disassembling cooperating brokerage.
Correct. A lot of people I've seen some brokerages are not even doing cooperating brokers
Right,
at all.
that's what EXP is doing.
And I'm sorry?
EXP is doing, that's what they're doing. And that just takes the liability off the broker.
It just confuses the way that the money gets
It's the
distributed.
same thing.
Same thing.
It's the
Go
same
ahead,
thing.
Danielle.
Well, so, I mean, and I'm not that smart, so a lot. The way that, I mean, this I feel like is actually an attorney question, because in my brain, unless we're just not doing the cooperating broker, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And we don't need to provide W-9s and we don't have to do all that anymore.
Nope.
Like whatever's in the listing agreement would go in D1, right? And then the way I would think about it is anything additionally would be in D2. So remember last week we were talking about like where would
12A.
the concession, like if we're asking for a concession, so say in that scenario, you actually asked for an additional 1% concession, but part of that was coming to you, that's where you would put in seller is now paying. So the 2% is coming from the broker because that's probably what the agreement says, right? In that box.
Okay.
Says seller agrees to pay broker 4% of that. It's being paid this way. That's what the listing agreement says.
Mhm.
Unless you fill out the second box.
Right. The B.
B. So that's kind of what I was thinking was.
That's a great scenario. Yeah, it's a great scenario.
If you're good with what the seller's paying, and then you use D2 if there's anything additionally.
If the listing brokerage is still doing broker to broker compensation.
Can we run through what an actual scenario would like with that paragraph with D1 and 2? If they're offering a commission, that just automatically goes into line 1. Like what would can we run through an actual scenario where like D2 would be filled out?
What, and how do we know if they're offering broker to broker or
You gotta call.
offering broker?
Yeah, you gotta text them.
Say, are you offering a VAC? If they are, then you
Yeah.
do one.
Right.
And if they're not, and that's when the listing agent's saying, no, we're not, but my listing agreement says 4%, so I'm gonna.
Wait, what?
So no. So if the brokerage, if they're not honoring the ZXP or some of the other brokerages that are not doing broker to broker compensation, one is out.
So in their listing agreement, it would say 2%, 0% to the buyer's agent.
Correct. Unless they're offering another, they may have the 1412 where they're offering other compensation and that agent is telling you about that, then that would go into B. But most brokerages are saying, go ahead.
I'm confused.
We all are.
I'm like more confused now. I think that a lot of the talk of them not offering compensations, throwing this whole thing off, like at the end of the day, people are going to still be paying commission. So can we talk about a normal situation? Business is normal. They're offering 3% to the buyer's agent for the commission. Is line 1 just saying, is it just transparency on what they're paying for both the listing agent and the buyer's agent? Or is this just specifically talking about the buyer's agent?
D, go ahead. D1
D1
is broker to broker.
Broker to broker. So if you texted the listing agent and say, what's your BAC? And they say 3%, then you use D1.
Okay.
I'm assuming that if you text them and they say 0, but then you want to put in your offer, you're getting paid 3, you want the 3% compensation, you can put it in D2 because now you're asking the seller to pay you because the seller hasn't agreed to pay it
Correct.
up front.
Great.
If you're doing or offer, or if you like that would change too. Like if I know my sellers or my buyers submitting a lower offer and I'm just gonna ask for 2% or whatever. Yeah.
Whatever, then you know,
Or a flat fee, whatever.
Yeah, whatever the case may be. Or that this is also a negotiation point. So house listed at 300 and your buyer says, well, but I can't afford to pay you, my buyer's agent. Okay, well, the house will appraise easily at 325. How about we offer 309 and we ask the seller to pay 3% to me to pay my commission? That's where it would get here.
Yeah, I mean, this has always been done. Now it's just done on the front end.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's like everyone's freaking. Like I haven't even run into a situation where they're not paying. Like nothing has changed, and so I think it's just like everyone's spazzing out on the what ifs a lot.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely.
So I just want to make sure that I was clear on that form because I got scared.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's so important with your buyers before you take them out, you see and have those candid, honest conversations about what they're financially capable of. And that's working up front with the lender and looking at their big financial, their entire financial portfolio to make this transaction, because that is going to help you just like you said, if he's got a 3% the only thing too, you know what your client's capable of. It just slows down the real estate process to be a little bit more methodical. I mean, I think you're going to have to slow it down. But that's just not.
Okay, we made it in an hour. Was that good conversation? We learned some stuff?
Yep.
What?
No, we did.
Did you
That's
ever
good.
hear back from JC on the, what you brought back up, whether it's, total, like they need closing costs and cover compensation? Did you
What
ever find out if
What
that
is the
was
name of
gonna
this
be?
form?
2406?
I know the number. I wanted, what's the name of it?
They didn't refer to fees.
Got it.
But did you ever hear back and say, because whatever total is in 12.
Is separate.
contract,
That's concessions.
yes, but
This
if you're
is
asking,
compensation.
yes, but remember, that's what we were asking last week, is if it's total compensation plus concessions there, or,
No, not there, in section 12.
yes, in 12.
Section
that's the
12 is
total.
just concessions,
So
right?
that's the total, 12 is.
If you're
total.
asking for compensation, I would put it in there as well and then send them this form and
Yes.
say, that's how I would do
That's what
it.
I'm
You would put it
asking.
in paragraph 12 of the contract as well?
I would, for clarity's sake, because.
So
Scroll down
12
on
is
this
gonna be
one.
the total of, if they need.
That's what Danielle's saying. She would put 12 as a total of buyer's agent, and they want $10,000 in closing costs.
So say, okay, let's just do a scenario, because this is how my brain works. They need 5,000 in concession, or concessions for closing costs. And then I'm gonna ask for 5,000 flat fee for compensation. So $10,000 would go in 12.
That is how I would write it.
And then 5 would only go in 2.
I'm looking at it as two separate things.
I am too.
I've
Yeah,
seen
I'm
this
looking at it two separate things too.
change.
How to
So
do that.
whatever brokerage fees are gonna be extended, it's in this form.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing 12, paragraph 12 as being, that's gonna contribute to property taxes, insurance, blah, blah, blah. Now, I think you have to loop back to 12A in the contract to see, because I do believe in the parentheses, it can go towards broker's fees.
That's what we're saying though. Is it the total there or just
And
the total?
I just
concessions
wanna,
for property
like,
taxes.
The reason I'm saying that is because I think Brian brought up the changes that are coming in November, and section 12 is changing
Yes.
to include, I think, all of us.
Yeah, so you're gonna break it up anyways in 12.
I'm doing it that way, probably.
Yeah. But
Unless
that's one
I'm-
thing, not all agents are gonna know that. And in my
I'm not
email-
assuming competence in anyone,
Yes.
so I would rather.
I
have
apologize.
it
He
at-
did respond and I didn't share it. My question was, I'm getting questions about reconciling paragraph 12 of the 1-4 family contract and paragraph 2D2 of the 2406. Agents are asking if we need to include BAC on the contract under paragraph 12, or if we only put BAC on the 200406 and paragraph 12 is completely separate. His response, two different items. One is reimbursing the buyer for BAC obligation of that is added to the list for a special provision. This is the new proposal, not in place from Trek. The other is an obligation between the brokers based on listing agreement paying total commission to listing broker and listing broker paying BAC. You would not do
But
both.
that's not correct.
Well,
If we're asking for the seller to pay for something, what he said is it's broker to broker.
I was asking about this
Oh, okay.
D1.
Oh, okay.
That's, I said in paragraph D1A.
Got it. Okay.
So, but he's saying that paragraph 12 is completely separate from the 2406, 2402s.
Even with, I don't know, I'll call
I
my
think
attorney.
it's important, and I think it's important. I think it's an important conversation as a title company.
I'll call
Yeah,
my
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was
And
thinking.
I need to see a CD to see how those are allocated.
Yeah, because my thing is, I just feel like I learned a long time ago not to assume competence.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna break it down in my email when I send it.
Well, hey guys, let me end the meeting. We can continue conversations.
Just like Kevin. That's hilarious.
What?
I said, I think agents have spent more time on reading this paper than they have been to in the last 2 months.
Oh, absolutely.
So, you got a
My
house.
thing is, I would rather have.
Absolutely. Hey guys, thank you for joining us online. Appreciate it. We hope to see you all soon in person. Next week, Gary Williams with New Wave Lending will be here, 9:45. Come see us. Bye, y'all.
5,000 for closing costs and property taxes, and 5,000 cover my compensation.
Figure it out.
I'm just gonna try to get some deals.
I'm gonna go to
Then as it
the
comes.
the little sign-in sheet.
Yeah.
And drop it back by.